Welcome to the answers to your review of the worksheet to get us ready for the quiz. Let's do the crossword puzzle first. Cooling caused by a wet blanket. Well, this is there's a great picture on page 221 about how this works. And so this is called evaporative cooling. Next, increase in size. Well, when things are heated, they increase in size, they expand. Phase change involving no liquid. So we skip the liquid phase, and so that is called sublimation. Energy from the sun. This we haven't taken yet, so I'll just fill it in. It's called radiation. Another word for melting. So if we remember, we have a little chart with our little triangle showing you liquid, gas, and solid. And that's on page 220. Make sure you know this chart. And so this is called fusion. Another word for melting is fusion. Next, cannot be compressed. Well, liquids fall under that category. Liquids cannot be compressed. You can see in topic 4, if you look on page 210 to help you with that. Drying puddle, what do we call that? That is called evaporation. State not found on Earth. There's solid, liquid, and gas, and then there's plasma. Happens when ice. This happens when ice is heated. And it's number 4 down. When ice is heated, melting. And finally, the opposite of evaporation is condensation. Let's go to the next question. It says, which graph below the volume of mercury in a thermometer? Which graph could be called a warming curve? Well, what happens when things are warmed? Okay, what happens to the volume? It gets bigger. In other words, it expands. So let's look at when things are getting bigger. So look at this. It's getting bigger, bigger, bigger. It's expanding. So this is a warming curve because the volume expands. Okay, which one's a cooling curve? Well, what's happening to the volume here? It's going down, 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 down. It's contracting over time. And so this one would be the cooling. Which graph shows what happens as soon as the thermometer is placed in hot soup? Our thermometer with the bulb, the mercury or the alcohol inside will start to rise or expand. So this is the hot graph. Which graph shows ice cream? This is the ice cream graph. And the reason this is ice cream is in a thermometer, again the bulb is down below. What happens to the alcohol inside? It goes down. The volume of the alcohol goes down or contracts when it's in cold things, and that's what this graph is showing you. Next, let's start this one. You pour 100 mils of hot water at 50 into 200 ml of cold water. So this is hot and this is cold. Which direction will the thermal energy be transferred? Thermal energy always goes from hot to cold. So that's what will happen there. It'll go from the hot beaker at 100 mils to, it'll transfer from the hot to the cold. What happens to the temperature of the hot water and the temperature of the cold? Well, the hot water, which starts at 50 degrees Celsius, cools down, and the cold water at 10 degrees Celsius heats up somewhere. In this case, it won't be the middle point because there is more cold. So if it were equal volumes, if we had 100 mils and we had 100 mils, then we'd find the middle temperature between 50 and 10. The middle temperature is 30. But it's not because there's more cold, so it's about somewhere maybe 24 degrees, something like that. So this is part 1. Part 2, you'll have to click on a different link.